Hello and welcome to the Email Marketing Roundtable by Zoho Campaigns. Thank you so much for joining us today. 10 years ago when Zoho Campaigns started, it was promoted as an email marketing platform with a tight CRM integration. 10 summers have passed, and both the product and the email marketing domain itself has gone through a lot of change. So if you are an email marketer, a marketer, or someone who is exploring the domain, do watch this video till the end to know about the industry trends, because like I said, we have some of the best marketing minds in this panel today. So let me introduce you to the panel. We have with us Praval, who is the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience at Zoho. He has 14 plus years of experience and he has been associated with Zoho for 10 years now. He specializes in brand product positioning and messaging, go-to-market strategy, demand generation, content marketing, and so on. We also have with us Sharanya, who was in fact the first marketer of Zoho campaigns. She joined Zoho in 2009 as a marketing analyst with CRM, and then moved on to lead the Zoho campaigns marketing team. She handled the entire marketing funnel then. Now she heads customer marketing and customer experience for products like Zoho CRM, Zoho CRM Plus, Desk, and Begin. Let us also welcome Bharat, who is the head of customer experience and marketing for Zoho's low-code product, Zoho Creator. He has over 15 years of experience across SaaS and ERP technology. He calls himself an entrepreneurial marketer. So welcome all of you. And from Zoho Campaigns, we have Praveen. He has been part of the campaigns team since the inception. He started as a support engineer. Now he's part of the product management team. Some of the updates that you've been seeing in campaigns, his team is behind it. So welcome all of you. Thanks for doing this. So I'll just jump right in and I'll start with Praveen. When he started in 2012, what was the idea behind launching an email marketing software? What was market like then?
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Vipasha. So back then in 2010, digital marketing was evolving and we saw a tremendous opportunity for email marketing. So we identified email as a core channel which businesses use for engaging with their customers. So we analyzed how this can be served to our customers and fueled our vision to help businesses with an email marketing tool. So that's when the campaigns was launched. Zoho vision was realized into reality after months of planning and iteration. And now we have completed successful 10 years of Zoho campaigns.
Sharvi, I would like to ask you, back in 2012, what was the market awareness like? How difficult or easy was it to promote a email marketing software?
Yeah, back in 2012, when we started marketing Zoho campaigns, it was I wouldn't classify it as easy or difficult. So one of the main challenges or priorities that we had at that point was we had to catch up with a lot of other products in the market because email marketing was really evolving at that point. So a lot of features, etc., were out, and we wanted to showcase how we can help businesses. Of course, we had the Zoho name, but we really wanted to showcase how we can really and uniquely help businesses. So that needed to be put out. And in addition to this, since we were just starting, we needed to get the basics of marketing right. So, a lot of messaging, a lot of content, a lot of, use cases, solutions. So all of this had to be put out. So that was the speed at which we had to market. And of course show how we were different or unique or how we could help businesses. That was the good part, and that was the maybe the challenging part also because of how quickly we had to put out all of these things. It was not difficult. It was truly a learning. That's what I would say.
Right. But when we look at early 2010 to 12, 13, Facebook was again gaining prominence. And I remember making my first purchase from a Facebook store back then. So, Praval, when back in those days, what do you think worked for email campaigns when other platforms, other social media platforms were also gaining prominence?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and not just back in 2012. I mean, that question I would say still stands equally important and interesting today. Where if you look at inspire, we've seen social networks come and go, right? There've been ones that came, got popular. Some of them don't exist, and some of them exist but are not that relevant, right? But email is something I feel is the most personal way to reach out to someone, except for knocking at someone's door, right? Which obviously you can't do as a marketer. So email has that. It's very sacred. All of us get a lot of emails, but still, a well-crafted email, even a cold email, has done wonders. For a lot of people. There are enough examples on the internet of how a cold email really did get someone a job, got someone an opportunity to do business with, got someone an hour-long meeting with someone who's super busy, right? It's all about how you put that email across. So the fact that it's super personal, and no matter how busy each one of us are, we always check our email, right? I mean, most CEOs are known to look at emails, and some of them actually reply to a lot of them, right? No matter how busy they are. So I think that nuance of what email is, how sacred it is to individuals, especially business professionals. I think that is something that was important back then when we launched campaigns, 2012, and even today. So with that in mind, I think, as Sharanya said, in fact, I remember I had just joined the company. It had been about a week when campaigns was launched, and Sharanya had just moved from the CRM team to take care of campaigns, the launch, and the whole product marketing cycle. Of course, the team has come a long way, Praveen, Sharanya, and others. But one thing that has been constant is email marketing as a marketing, I would say, tool, is very different. Think about it. Having 50,000 email subscribers today is very different from having 50,000 followers on Twitter, right? And there's value in both, but if you look at how that value is differentiated, in case of an email marketing channel, you pretty much own the list of those subscribers. They're your subscribers. They subscribe to you for a reason. You probably add value, so on and so forth. But you have direct access to them. They subscribe you for a reason, and you can send them an email, and they'll most likely read it, right? That's what. Of course, there are open rates and click-through rates on email. We can get back to that a little later. But the idea is you have access to these 50,000 people as your subscribers. It's very different from having 50,000 people liking your Facebook page, for that matter, right? So they are not the same things. The other thing is, when you are looking at social media, essentially you're massively dependent on the algorithms of these networks, right? And you know how frequently they changed. There are so many horror stories of how businesses, after investing a lot of money on social media, things have changed, and a lot of it went through the drain. Email, for the larger part of the history that we know of, hasn't really changed that way, right? It's still an email address. The address nomenclature hasn't changed. People take pride in owning their addresses for whatever long period of time they do. So yeah, keeping it personal, owning that subscriber list, and not being on the mercy of a social network and their algorithms is a huge differentiator as a marketer to build that email list. Okay, and that's the kind of vision we thought we want to get into this market for. And it also aligns with the larger Zoho vision. If you look at it, what did we set out to build and where we are today? If you look back, with more than 55 products today, helping businesses across the board, across functions, cutting through sales, marketing, HR, finance, so on and so forth. This was a piece of the puzzle that we were solving for, right? We already had CRM. It was a natural extension to build products in the periphery that offer value to the customer. And the entire customer journey can be mapped, which today we do with our customer experience platform all the way, right? So that's the journey and how I look at it, and that's how we've come so far. Yeah.
Agreed, Praval, but there's another side of the spectrum which, Bharat, I would like you to answer is email is dead. A lot of conversation is happening around this topic. There are internet quarrels that is happening because of this. So, what is your opinion on that? Since you head the marketing for Creator, do you think email will be ever dead?
Definitely no. I think there is a bit of an exaggeration in that. There is a problem that is happening. There is merit in that statement, but to say that email is dead is definitely not right. I think if you look at the numbers, right, very purely put, estimates from different researchers say that daily active email users count is somewhere between 4 billion to 4.5 billion across the globe. You take Facebook or Instagram, those numbers are somewhere around 2 to 2.5 billion, not even closer to the daily active email user. So there is still potential. There is still, as an email marketer, there is email is still valid. And like Praval mentioned, right, there is a bit of a personal angle. I'll give you a small anecdote. This was 2005-6, I think, the time when I was trying to create my email ID. I tried different combinations, Bharat dot something with all the options that I wanted. Gmail kept telling me that time that, oh, this is already taken, this is already taken. Out of frustration, you won't believe me, my current email ID in the personal site is bharat.nomailid@gmail.com. I was like, you're not giving me the mail ID I want, this will be my mail ID. I'm still embarrassed when I share this ID with people outside, but that is the level of personal connect, right? It's like Raul mentioned, it's like reaching out to someone's inbox. There's an attention that you are grabbing there. So the tool as such, email as a concept as such, is definitely powerful, and thanks to solutions like Zoho email and marketing platforms like Zoho campaigns now that are making those accessibility, making that reach much better. But if I step back and look at why is this statement coming across, why is this statement of email being dead coming across, I think predominantly it's like any tool, right, Vipasha? As crude as fire to as evolved as AI, right? There is always positives and negatives. It depends on how you use it. Email also, I think maybe I would say the marketers out here are to be equally blamed, that we jump into the bandwagon when something is at the hype cycle and sort of overuse it. Again, industry estimates say more than, I think, 15 to 16% of the emails that are being sent every day are filtered by spam filters. Though they don't even reach the user, right? That's the level of bulk emailing and email blast and things like that happen. Because of that, there is this feeling of, hey, why are you even reaching out to my space, to my inbox with something that is not even relevant to me? When I see something irrelevant in Facebook or an Insta scroll, I'll be more lenient. I'll be like, okay, it's a general message. But when it comes inside my inbox, I take it a little personal, in the sense that, oh, someone has taken the pains to send me something. Is it relevant? Have I subscribed to this? Even after I subscribe, has the organization taken the pains to segment me in the right space and send me something relevant? When those things happen, the impact of emails will be good. I, for one, personally would always vouch for email, because in my experience, in past, when I worked for an ERP organization, I've seen a 3 million sort of a deal getting closed through an email nurturing flow. So definitely the power of email is here to stay. It all depends on how we are going to use that power.
Right. You brought up a great point of, as the email industry is growing, the number of spams is growing, and mailbox providers are getting stricter with the spam policies. So, I would want to throw this to the panel. How does a marketer understand this and go about, navigate through the privacy challenges, and even not just privacy, but also the fact that governments across the globe are working towards securing the privacy of their citizens. So how does a marketer navigate through that? What does one do? So yeah.
I can take that. So as Bharat mentioned, right, email marketing is a channel, it's a tool, it's a medium, and of course, often misused, abused, for various reasons. I think the entire conversation around privacy from a user standpoint is important, because all of us get more emails than we can potentially read today, right? And a lot of it is junk. A lot of it is sent without consent. I think this something being sent to someone without consent is what the larger problem we're trying to track. One part of it, right? The other part of it's tracking. We can talk about that as well. But the important, the first part of it is, as a business, you don't have my consent and you're sending me email blast. That's the first thing that governments around the world, at least I mean, more so in certain regions than the others, but everyone is sort of catching up to that. You're seeing governments coming on strong on that you have to have user consent, things like double opt-in, right? To sort of make sure that most of us get emails that we really want to receive. Now it'll run its course to sort of get to a stage where this is, I would say, without any leaks, but governments are pushing for that. That's number one, the consent. The other part of it is tracking, right? A lot of advertisers in general have also misused uh, the channel, so to say, to track people's behavior, to leave cookies on their machines for pumping up their advertising business, and the whole lobby around it has gotten to a stage where, and again, a lot of education around users' privacy and why it is important for people like you and me and all of us who access emails. Our privacy is important to us, and it's not about whether we want to share data or not. It's about, do we even know that we are sharing some data about ourselves? So that's another thing that a lot of institutions, certain governments, certain foundations are sort of cracking down on. So, and in that age, when in 5 years down the line, when all of this sort of comes up together, I think if you ask me what would be the best email marketing strategy, I think it'll all come down to A, getting the user consent, B, making sure that your content is not just spam or promotional, right? Are you really adding value for me to count myself as one of your subscribers? Okay. If not, you lose a subscriber. That's how simple it's going to be in the end. There are emails that people pay to subscribe to, right? There's some of the really good email newsletters that some of us pay to subscribe purely because of sheer value. There are no ads in them as well. Sometimes some of them do, some of them don't. So the idea is, if you as a marketer or as a business owner are adding value, that could be around, it could be something as simple as sending me good offers on a particular category. Look at something like the wire cutter that New York Times today owns, right? It helps people buy uh, everything from a chisel to a phone to a whatever, right? And people subscribe to their newsletter because they see value in it. To someone that is sort of educating you on a certain topic, could be gardening, or could be learning a music instrument for that matter, right? Or could be business lessons. If you are adding value, you have my vote, you have my subscription, right? That is what's going to come down to. How much value can you offer, your newsletter can offer, your email subscription can offer, for me to continue doing this. Everything else, all the gimmicks around it, are slowly going to get sort of fade away, and it's going to be harder for marketers to track a lot of these things. So you have to get beyond the mindset of tracking every stage of the funnel with every single metric that we are all used to. So that's the transition I think we're seeing as in the email marketing space. And at Zoho, I think we're very bullish on user privacy. We've talked enough about it. We've made our stance clear what our business model is. We're not looking at user data, neither to leverage it to show ads, nor to sell it to a third party. So as times are changing, I think these are going to be strong cornerstone for how people look at email marketing.
Yeah, that was the point that I wanted to add, Vipasha, about marketers. So the thing with email marketers is always to remember quality over quantity. So a lot of people think the larger your subscriber base, you have better results. That's not always the case. If you have a smaller subscriber base, it's all right. But how engaged are they, and are you providing value to them? And if you can make them engage with your brand, with your business as much as possible via your emails, nothing like it. So that's what I have seen as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to add that whenever we meet customers, the first thing is what we have to do as marketers and tell them not to buy lists because that's rampant out there. So we have to convince them, literally beg them to not do that for their own good. So one question to you, Sharanya, uh, email building and list is very important. What are the best practices while collecting data and building a good, healthy email list?
Consent, get the user's consent and have that with you. That is the fundamental thing, considering all the laws, the privacy laws, the how governments are coming down on how we use data and all of that. As long as we have the consent and we have that subscriber, so it's fine. So that is what I feel is the most important best practice out there. So do not buy less. We can say multiple things, but this is a get the consent from the user and you're good. And of course, and after that, how do you sustain that? You have to provide value, like Praval was saying. Keep providing value, your subscriber is going to be with you. So that's the single most important thing, is what I feel as an email marketer.
Okay. Again, question to all of you. All of you have used campaigns, have sent bulk emails. So, in the current scenario, what are the email marketing features that marketers must use to leverage the demands of the market? What are your favorite features, if you could start? Bharat?
Uh, in general, Vipasha, I think this question I would say is a continuation of the previous one also. The value that we provide, right? I think that comes through when we put the customer first. For example, I am a marketer. I have a webinar happening tomorrow. Does it make sense for me to blast that webinar invite to all my subscribers, people who have purchased my product? Definitely no. How can I segment my audience? This webinar is on a particular topic. Who will it be relevant to? It is happening in a US time zone. Should I send it to the India audience or not? I think those will come if we put the customer first in terms of our initiatives. I'm currently speaking from a marketer's campaign point of view. Before getting into the tools, I think I have also realized that, like for example, for email validation, right? Like we have used tools like Sender Score, reputation management, etc. But I think they are when we are obsessed about those metrics, it becomes our focus becomes on solving the symptom instead of solving the problem. If we put customer first, that is actually solving the problem. You are very clear on why am I sending this email out? How have I segmented my audience? And like Praval rightly mentioned, we need not be obsessed about measuring, collecting all the data of the users. Whatever is minimal, whatever is relevant. For example, through which page the user signed into my product. Let's say I have 4 different versions or 4 different variants of my product, and the user signed in through version A. Then it makes sense for me to remember that instead of remembering which device did he use, when did he sign in, and other personal information. But this is relevant. I know that he's more inclined towards version A. Then I segment him under version A as an audience. Then what is the next level of layer that I can add is based on the region, based on other information that he has given during sign up. Let's say, is he an enterprise organization? Is he a large setup? Is he a startup sort of an organization? Then instead of looking at my audience, like I said earlier, as one way for me to increase my marketing impact, if I reverse it and look at it as how can I add value to this person, starting from that segmentation, using the right tools, and then sending out the right content, I think then the tools will come in accordingly. When you are very clear that I want to segment, you will look at what are the tools that help me segment my audience. How am I marking users across as different layers in my CRM? How am I configuring my email tools in such a way that the nurturing flow sends only X emails over Y days, right? I am not bombarding the users. Those things are how you apply this logic in terms of your tools. That's what I would recommend, Vipash.
Yeah. What about
Vipash,
you?
yeah, I would like to add some points on this. Like personalization has always been on demand. Like as Bharat mentioned, like segmenting and targeting the user is the right way to send out a perfect content to the end users. So personalize has been always on demand. Marketers can also leverage AI to personalize the content and send the dynamic content based on the customer behavioral data. So personalization is one thing that the marketers can use in their email content, like addressing with the name or addressing the name or any other custom information that they have in the email content. And the other one that I would like to suggest is, like, when you send out an email, keep mobile optimization. Uh, uh, Consider the mobile optimization as well. Like, more and more users are opening their emails in the mobile devices, and the messages should be just as easy to read on the smaller screens. So when you design the email content, we have to consider the mobile optimization as well. So that is one thing that I would like to add.
Anything else, Praval or Sharanya, you would like to
Yeah,
add?
just to build on what Bharat and Praveen already said, I think one of the most favorite features of mine, apart from personalization and dynamic content, which Praveen already said, is this whole idea of creating a workflow. And it's a very interesting one. I mean, if you look at what this workflow really allows you is, you can not just sign people up or, I mean, of course, after getting consent, which is in place, as Sharanya said early on, you can actually create rules of how you want to put people in a funnel. How do you want to warm them up? If there's a lead that you get, the lead has warmed up, you can create a rule, a workflow to assign, move that to the CRM. Things like this is actually what a true email marketing platform really helps you. And again, you go beyond that, right? You can, based on certain behaviors and triggers, you can, based on certain behavior, you can trigger an action. All that automation, I think, is what is making email marketing a very hot space in itself. I mean, we're talking about more than a couple of $1 billion as an industry itself. So I think that is an important factor here as well, which a lot of email marketers, at least early on, including myself, um, don't really jump onto, right? We're looking at it just like how a lot of people use spreadsheet just like a table, just like a sheet where they put in values and they look at columns and rows. It takes a while for a user of a spreadsheet to get to pivot tables and see the larger value of spreadsheets, right? Similarly, in email marketing, a lot of us actually start with, oh, here's a list of people, here's my content, send out an email, right? But there's a lot of power under the hood, which, as you play with the product, you learn about it, you see a lot of value. And my personal favorite over the years have become this workflow, which, when you're dealing with a substantial amount of data in terms of, when I say data, I mean consented users, let's put it that way, right? People who you have their consent, how you can engage with them, how you can nurture them, how you can move them to the CRM, mark them as hot, cold, whatever, for your sales team to work on. All that is actually quite beautiful if you understand how the whole thing works. And I think I would highly encourage marketers to double click on that and learn that and start with a small experiment and see where it goes.
Right.
To add, Vipasha,
Yeah.
just one point, continuing with what Praval said, right? I think one of the important features of campaign that we as a team, marketing team, also constantly go back to is the auto emails, the auto responder emails that go to the audience who sign up. There is immense scope for optimization and improvement and winning the customer there itself. Someone has signed up, like generally we are used to thinking email marketing is the blast that we send out and we reaching out to people, etc. But even these autoresponders, or which is an automated workflow email that Raval was touching about, campaign offers a beautiful way of segmenting your users and creating different flows for different types of users and creating those autoresponder emails. And we keep going back to which of those emails have a good open rate. Does this make sense? Is it relevant to the audience? And then we optimize that. So that is one capability that I would like to highlight.
This brings me to the last question for Praveen. We've talked so much about the trends and what to expect when it comes to email marketing. How is Zoho Campaigns as a product preparing for the future? What should the customers look out for in terms of feature updates and so on?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Pasha. Actually, so we are working on a lot of stuff with Zoho campaigns. So as far as Zoho campaigns is concerned, like we always try to keep the bar high with the features tailored for businesses globally. So with respect to the features, like we have AI as a catalyst, like we are bringing new and improved capabilities in email marketing. So a major portion of use cases will be driven by the automation with hyper personalization, enhancing the overall user experiences. And we're also planning to build interactive email capabilities for Zoho campaigns. So this will be the game changer for marketers and help them orchestrate compelling storytelling, and that will obviously increase the engagement rates. So this is what actually we are planning to bring up in campaigns in the near future.
Exciting times ahead. This brings us to the end of this roundtable. Thank you so much to all of you for doing this, for joining me for this conversation. There was so much to learn, and I hope our audience also had a thing or two to learn. Thank you again, and have a great day ahead. Until next time, happy campaigning.
Thank you, Vipasha. Thank you, everyone else, and wish you all the best, the campaigns team.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.